Okay. And apologies if I missed this part of your presentation. Was there going to be any effort to kind of improve some of the experience around the web pushes? I had no idea that if I block that pop-up that I would never see it again. So it's like, is there any effort to fix that, or at least to make it, expose it through an API where they might request again?
I'm going to say short-term, no. So the major way that browsers generally get around this, and it's not get around it, but they improve the experience, is they will ask the user a soft request, like they will show up their own pop-up in their web page saying, hey, would you be open to notifications, yes or no? And if the user clicks yes, then they show up the actual permission dialog saying, actually, properly, please allow me to do this. I think the reason that I'm going to say they probably aren't looking at changing it is right now, most players are doing the bad thing rather than the good thing. So short term, I say no. If we start seeing a lot of web developers doing this repeatedly and actually it's becoming a more and more growing concern, then maybe there's some way we can figure out like what is a better solution to this. I know like the thing where I showed you, if you click, you dismiss it, it goes to default and then it changes to denied almost immediately. I actually quite like that as a pattern in the sense of they said no, you've done something that probably isn't a good sign. Admittedly, the fact that I clicked on something should have worked. I also know that Firefox are playing with this to a certain degree where they did some really unusual things that were unexpected to the API, but it was an interesting user experience. So I'd say browsers are willing to look at this, but there needs to be a clear case of the bad thing was actually unintentional from the user's point of view to start off with. And at the moment, I think the UX people, the term notifications rather than pushes is a conscious decision. The reason that it shows up and then if they click block, it's a clear block. I think they have actually done a lot of research to figure that out because I had the same concerns at first. Like for me, block, I'm just like, I just wanted yes or no, not yes and block permanently and never bother me again. So yeah, I think in my head, there are people that are much more smarter in this area that know it, and they're the ones who are kind of like, this is the reason why. So yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry. So in terms of, I actually really enjoyed the disgusting slides about all the security.
Yes.
I did have I was wondering, have you had any issues or concerns with spoofed notifications where somebody gets something that looks like a Facebook notification, but it's actually not, and it's saying, oh yeah, click here, it's your friend telling you because you showed clicking on a URL to your Wikipedia site, and that screams exploit all over it, right? In terms of, like, how is that locked down?
So originally they did lock that down. So the idea was that you couldn't open up a separate URL from a notification click. The problem with that is the web does allow you to open up a URL. The URL then is a redirect URL, and then you go to the website that you intended. So actually the security model didn't make any sense because you weren't any the wiser. The other thing is you still have no knowledge of what the browser's doing beyond your origin. So there's no real way. Like the message turns up, it clearly states like it's from that origin. It's not from Wikipedia or anything else. The other thing is you then open up a tab to Wikipedia. You can open the tab, but that's it. You can't interact with the tab. You can't send it messages. You can't read anything. Like it's all completely sandbox still as a browser would be. So as far as I'm aware, I've not seen anyone find any weird exploits or ways of doing it. That's not to say it doesn't exist. There are a lot of smart people out there that do weird and wonderful things. But at the moment, I've not seen anyone do anything malicious. And yeah, I know a lot of people have shared those concerns because the number of times the web security team have just come in and gone, no, we can't do this for this reason. And while it's frustrating, it kind of comes through as like, okay, that makes sense. So far, no one's found anything yet.
Cool. What's the experience like on mobile devices? It seems like this might let you make websites that are like messaging clients that are traditionally native apps. Do the notifications look the same?
So depending on the platform, I should have said this in the slides actually. So the way that I would think of the notifications API is you can give it all this information, like here's the icon, here's the badge, here's the title text, here's this text, here's that. Have zero expectations of what the actual final UI would look like. The only thing I would say is if the platform can support that feature, they will take advantage of that feature. They may manipulate the feature depending on what you're doing. So where I showed the action buttons, you can put a little icon on there. If you put a colored icon in the action icon On desktop, it will be colored. On Android, they will make that a single color that fits in with the platform. So generally, I would say, for the most part, just put everything that you think is relevant to that notification object. Depending on the platform will depend on how it looks, but it will look right for that platform. So the other thing is if you're on, like I'm on Linux, Chrome shows its own notification UI. If you use Firefox, it uses whatever the current platform's native notifications are. So it actually looks violently different. Chrome will truncate body text, whereas Firefox will not. So if you put in a paragraph of text, Chrome users won't see it. Firefox gets this nice big long bubble when they hover over it. So it's all down to the platform, which is actually better for the user, more interesting if you want to strictly control it, should we say.
This may be a total newbie question, but can push notifications take input, like form fields?
So I know Android started supporting this, and I know one of the Chrome engineers started toying with it. I don't think it went anywhere. The main reason because of that was the notification spec. There's enough features in it already that Chrome implements, but a lot of other browsers don't yet, that I think we wanted to kind of hold off adding more. So at the moment, no, it's literally action buttons. You can actually set vibration patterns. Sound is spec'd but not implemented anywhere. So short answer, no. I know that it's been thought of. The other thing is, if you're really interested in weird and wonderful things in notifications, The Guardian in the UK, they've done some weird stuff with notifications. They started doing like Trump, Hillary voting, counting live in a notification. They were replacing the same notification again with images they generated in the service worker using like binary blobs and other stuff. And it was like, it was really cool to read, but it was just like, this is an awful like lot of effort to do what you're doing. But the end result was great. So yeah, there's a lot of requests that come out like that. But I think at the moment, I think we want the level to level the playing field a bit in terms of like, this is what developers can expect will work before adding more stuff.
So more or less, it's pretty structured at this point.
Yeah. I think at the moment it is. Like, that's not to say it's not open to more stuff, because the other side of it as well is like, as you start supporting the native notifications, like OS X supports certain things versus Linux, everything else, there also comes a certain point of like, if you really need like text field input, like that's the only way this notification makes sense, there may only be one platform that supports that, and then suddenly you're in this weird space where you've received a message, it doesn't make sense, but you have to show something, so what do you do then? So it's kind of an unusual space to be in that regard as well. So yeah. It's, for now, let's assume it's fixed, but they're still open to playing with it.
Cool. Thank you.
Hello. Is it any hope or maybe progress on implementing this on iOS?
Safari has shown interest in implementing service workers, which is the first step to all of this. The other side is Safari has their own proprietary push thing for desktop. Beyond that, Safari is Safari, and we will see what happens. At the moment, it's Chrome, Firefox. They've been doing it for a long time. Opera on mobile as well as Samsung Internet on mobile. And then Edge is working on this stuff. It's just a case of if and when they support push. But I know they're aggressively working on service workers. So yeah, Safari's the odd one out, but they are working on service workers, which is the very first step to all of this. So fingers crossed.
Thank you.
I have a multi-part question, and it shows that there's the first fundamental part that I'm not clear on. First of all, when you send the notification message, does it go to a third-party service you register, or does it actually go directly from your website, your web server application you write?
So when you want to send a push message, your application server will be the thing that would trigger it. It can be a local script or what have you, but something you own will trigger the push message. You'll send that to a third-party push service. That'll be a web push service, but you're sending encrypted data, so they can't read anything from it. The only thing they get is a bit of information that authenticates you, which is the application server key stuff, and they will just pass on the encrypted message to the user.
And I can't imagine someone doing this for free. You never mentioned anything about the finances involved? Does someone charge per message? Is there a variety of places you go to? This can't be free.
FCM has been doing this for free for a very long time. Mozilla AutoPush, again, free as well. If it wasn't free, the browser wouldn't be offering it.
And so is there a limit on, can't people abuse this?
Yes, I believe there is a status code that you will receive if you start sending too many messages too frequently. It will go, you are being throttled for this reason. So yeah, that will be up to the push service, and I would be surprised if you hit that point. And if you do, the chances are that mail to field will suddenly be used to email you going, hey, what are you doing? And maybe we should talk before you carry on. So yeah. Yep.
That makes sense.
It seems to be around a UI base, a browser. Could push services be used between two node devices for simple signaling?
Yep. So the question was, could you use web push between two node instances? Short answer, no. I was kind of surprised when I implemented the FCM Web SDK. I was talking to one of the Firebase engineers, and they were like, don't forget, if you can make this work on Node, just make it work. At the moment, it doesn't, but that's not to say there couldn't be something like it. I would kind of suspect if it was Node, they probably wouldn't be using the web push standard. It would be using more like a proprietary FCM API, just because generally it's easier for developers. So yeah, that's not to say it's not impossible to happen, but it requires someone to care about it and implement it. But yeah, maybe. Anybody else? Oh, yep.
What is the biggest thing that you need fixed or the big problem reaching your vision for this?
Sorry, I cannot hear what you're saying.
That way you don't have to do the work.
That was such
You know,
a
I'm not
fake
fed up
attempt
people-
of helping.
Yeah. No, it was good though. I mean, I almost went for it. Yeah. What is the biggest thing in the roadmap for the future for this technology, and what are the biggest need that you don't have a doorway to, or biggest opportunity for people to do greatness and helping it reach its mature vision?
I think the biggest thing in terms of the spec writers is they're trying to push it to a very, very final spec stage, which they've nearly done. And they've done it with pretty minimal changes. And like I say, as far as web developers are concerned, there's no real change they have to worry about. They're just finalizing that last little bit. But as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I'm aware, they've basically done that. Like, they've got approval from all the numerous specs that are involved in this that are like, okay, we're going to rejig the headers to be this format, and it's all going to be fine. Once that lands, that'll be huge. The push description change bit is the one thing that I think is going to hurt most.
When do you think that to land? What's the near-term range? I know you can't say exactly when, but what range of time should we be looking at for locking and go golden?
So I know Chrome Canary has the expiration time for basically, at the moment it's set to 0, but it's like we are aware that this change is going to happen. So that's a 6-weekly cycle. So it ultimately comes down to if and when Chrome wants to implement that. I'm pretty much aware that Firefox does use it, but in weird ways. So I think they'll probably change first. And then it's future browsers if they want to use it or not. The biggest opportunity, I think it depends on your service. It's less to do with, like, is it going to be a game changer for the web as a whole? I think it can be a game changer for your service. Like, most people who implement this stuff, when you actually look at their stats in terms of users that have clicked on a notification, they generally spend more time on your website because they've clicked on it, they're engaged. The other side of it is they see a lot more repeat views from visitors because there's suddenly a thing that they had no reason to go back to your website, and now they do. So I think that's the main thing. There's not necessarily a game changer for the web, but it's a game changer for your service. And I was already talking to someone who was saying that they've uninstalled like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that because they don't want to use up the space on their phone for those services. And like that's kind of a common thing where they get to a certain point of like, I don't need Facebook on my phone, or I don't need this on my phone, but I still want that constant, like, I want to know when someone messages me or does something. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing, whether we see things like Twitter Lite compared to the native app, whether that actually starts panning out like, okay, well, which one do people prefer? Is there a preferred experience or not?
Actually, I'm a hardcore fan of the web versions because I find I get better performance even with like Google Voice versus the tab, even with the update. And I think if we can give people granular notifications, where like one thing Facebook's done really well is like you get this many notifications, you don't only get this few one a day. If we give granularity in that, where they can assess that from the app level of the OS, that can becomes an interesting experience. Like placement even on the lock screen and stuff.
Yeah.
I've always been betting hard on that, and I've seen it over and over. That's why I think React won a lot, because they have a lot of tools like that.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you've looked at like Facebook's like notification thing. If you wanted to like turn on certain notifications or turn off certain ones, their UI for actually doing that is really simple. Like they show you these are the past notifications. You click the ones you don't want, and they just like, okay, well we'll take that into account, which is really nice as a UI kind of experience. Like I don't like this one, no more of this. But yeah, I think it's just interesting. I think it's one of the common features when people use web native apps. It pushes one of those things where it's like, actually, this is really useful.
Yeah.
So it's interesting leveling the playing field.
So I actually know one of our investors is the head of payments, or head of commerce over there. The reason they do that is a lot of the customers they're going after around the world don't read. So things like even VO, they literally can't read in their own language. So if you can show them that they like and they don't like visually, image or something like that, they actually interact. So it's actually a good thing, and it's what we're going to have with post UI, like motion, voice interaction. We're going to have to come up with ways to make it easier for people to intuitively say what they want, even if they don't know what it is. But just say they like this or don't like this. So that push opens that up.
Yeah, and like you
With
kind
AI.
of, you were saying like all of the channeling of like selecting different notifications you do and don't want. Like Android O is actually moving in that kind of direction. Like an app can start setting different groups of notifications, and the user can assign different behaviors on those notifications. The web doesn't have that, but at the same time, it has to adhere to it because it's on that platform. So it'll be interesting to see if once we have this with Chrome and more browsers like Chrome, Firefox, all the major ones are on board. It's interesting to see, well, then what do platforms want to do as like just a staple? Like this is how notifications work now.
But you could do that. You could actually do better because you have cookies and other things, maybe like, basic attention or whatever. You, with AI and other forms of data analysis, you can do better granular. It's like, this is your behaviors on your browser. We'll give you that same behavior with anything that has the same cookie description set, and have it auto give the best performance for different types of things you're looking at.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. You implement it, you got full control. Boom.
Or the user gets full control without doing anything.
Yes. You give the user control on your service.
Yeah. That's how we made a lot of money at Apple, letting people lazy.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Matt.